Nearly 30 hours ago, 14 players set out on a journey to outlast all the others. And those 30 hours pushed each to their physical, mental, and emotional limits. And now we have just 3 left who aren't done playing. Mark, will the most truthful and honest person to ever play Survivor Branford usher in a new era of gameplay for future players?
I think I'm in a good position for the last 3. I'm confident that I will be the sole survivor.
Jamin. After a Final 5 blindside, she was all but written off, but was winning the final immunity challenge just the beginning of her late game surge.
No one thought it, but I knew. I will be the sole survivor. There we go.
Amanda. Now in the final 3 for the first time, can this Survivor Branford veteran use all of her knowledge and experience to fulfill the goal she's worked 5 seasons toward?
I haven't been this close, this is crazy. I think I'm in a really good place because I controlled everything. Hopefully, I'm gonna go to victory.
I was super horrible and I feel really bad about that because I thought that Dennis and I were good, but I don't know, I just felt like that was what I needed to do to hopefully win it all. But I hope he doesn't hate me, but he probably does.
It was so hard to vote off Dennis. Dennis has been an amazingly strong player. He was probably my closest ally for the first, I don't know, at least 3/4 of the game. I've been thinking about what I'm going to say, but I've been trying not to get too ahead of myself. But in terms of leadership, I think I have some really good talking points. I think people are less mad at me than Amanda, and I think I've edged out Jamin for overall leadership.
Oh, I haven't done this ever. Poor Dennis. I'm sorry, my heart feels so bad about that. But I know he would do the same thing to me. Literally, I was going where the votes were going, and so I couldn't force a tie because then Mark and Dennis would do this immunity, and like if Dennis wins, then he looks all the more powerful. Dennis, I'm really sorry. But you already made it to Final 3 once. So, this is my turn. Like, Mark was loyal beach, like die hard for like no reason and like didn't strategize at all beyond that. Then Jamin, like she was in my pocket the whole time, and like yeah, she actually did like build other alliances and work on those things, but at the end of the day, like I was the one who drove that. But I hope people respect the game that I played and I can talk a good speech. I don't know. I'm scared, I'm really scared.
Welcome to the final Tribal Council. It's been a long road to get to this point, but here we are. What's going to happen now is we have our final 3. What they will do is try to convince you to give them your vote as to who should be the winner of this game. Each of the final 3 will make an opening statement, say what they need to say to prepare for the rest of the conversation, what they want you to know up front. Then what we'll do is we'll transition to a group conversation between the jury and the final 3 with the topic of outwit, outplay, and outlast in mind. And then if we feel we need to, the final 3 can make a closing statement briefly. Then we'll vote. You're voting for the winner, which of the three you think played the best game and deserves to be crowned the winner of our 5th season. And then we all get to go home. With that said, are there any questions, or shall we get rolling? Okay, so Jamin, if you would, please give us your opening statement.
Whew. Okay, well, I think what you have here are three people who played three very, very different games. One person kind of just stayed back and didn't do a lot and just kind of had one game plan to be loyal, and it worked out. And you have one person who I think made a lot of alliances with every single person here and did a lot of, backstabbing. And then I think you have me, who was right in the middle of that. And I think what my plan was to, make really tough decisions when you have to, but if you can stay loyal, do that. And so that's what I did. I think I, for the most part, stayed true to myself, other than the times when, you have to make the hard decisions, because at the end of the day, you do want to win.
All right, thank you. Amanda, please give us your opening statement.
Hi guys, thanks for being here. I had so much fun with you all, and really this was a great season to be a part of, so thank you all for being a part of it. This is my 5th season playing. Every previous season I've come in with a target on my back every single time. For that reason, I've only made it to top 7. And so every season I've adapted and I've adjusted and I've changed my game a little bit, tweaked it, tried to find out where I went wrong. My goal this season was to have as many conversations as I could and be as open as I could to different plans. In the past, I stuck with one alliance, and when that alliance betrayed me, I was in trouble. And so my plan was form that core alliance. Hopefully it'll take you to the point that you need to, but then have plan B, have plan C, have conversations, go talk to people. So that's what I did. I had a lot of different final 3 deals, and I wasn't sure really which one I was going to go with. I played really hard. I didn't play safe. I didn't play die hard loyal, because that's not what Survivor's about for me. It's about strategy. It is about backstabbing, and I hope that you guys can respect a hard played game.
And finally, Mark, please give us your opening statement.
The theme of this Survivor was leadership. I took that to heart. And leadership starts with leading by example. And from the very first minute, I put down a plan, which was we should stay loyal to each other, do the best we can in the challenges, and ultimately make it to the last 3. There was a moment where that group fractured, and I helped us stick together. But I'd like to quickly respond to some of the things you guys have said, which is, I think I played partly as I looked like a sucker for a lot of the game. And I want to make sure you guys know that that's not what was happening. I found the clue, I found the idol, I won a challenge, I made good alliances, I stabbed in the back when I needed to. Sorry, Dennis. And ultimately, I played a very good game. I'm proud of how I got here, first and foremost, and I really enjoyed it. Thanks.
Thank you, Final 3, for those great opening statements. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open the conversation up to the jury, and we're going to start by talking about the quote-unquote outwit portion of the game. So this is the strategic side, the moves that these people had to make to get where they ended up. So whoever would like to open up the conversation with a statement, with a question along those lines, may do so.
I have a question. This is for Amanda and Jamin. Do you think Mark's leadership pitch to the whole team was as influential as it claims it to be?
No. Mark and actually Mare, to an extent, although I'm not sure how much she drove that, came to us. They literally pulled us down for a group meeting and made us sit at the table and said, guys, we're beach to the end, we're die hard. And Mark said, let's promise each other right now, if there's a beach in the end, we're voting for that person. So it's a guarantee that that person is going to get the most votes. And I nodded my head, because that's what you do in situations like that, and thought, wow, well, I can use Mark, because I have him as an ally, a die-hard ally for just this beach name, but I need to explore many other options, because that might not go the right way.
I also think that's something that you expect when you start. You're with these people and you want to form an alliance right off. You want to feel some kind of security. So that's something any of us could have said and had in mind anyway. So yeah, he did bring it up, but it wasn't like it was an original, completely original idea.
Who made it to the top 7? All beach. When 4 Beach went over to Rice version 2.0, who got voted on? Former Rice tribe. Beach, that went textbook. Stay with Beach. I think a lot of that had to do with the way I am.
Do you think you could have pulled that off had you not had a simple majority on Rice 2.0?
I think I would have been screwed.
I also think too the second Beach thing was the reason that we ended up feeling, I guess, frustrated was because we were told by Beach members that they were voting Beach. So it was more that it was someone was not being consistent as opposed to, well, now we need to stay Beach. I felt betrayed by that as opposed to now we just need to stay Beach.
On that episode you're talking about, where at the last minute the Beach ultimately, those Beach members ultimately did not betray Beach. They ultimately stuck with Beach. Why do you think they ultimately made that decision?
I can speak to that. I think that was because of my alliance with Dennis. So Mare wanted to go with you guys, but she needed a 6 because it was 10. She went to Dennis, and effectively Dennis would have been on the bottom of that, so it didn't make sense for him to do that. But she was also targeting me, and we had made an agreement, Meredith, Jamin, me, and Dennis, we're going to get each other to a reasonable point in the game. We know we're going to have to cut each other at some point, but we're going to get as far as we can.
That's not true. That's I'm just going to comment on the reasonable point to the game. It was me, you, and Meredith, top 3 no matter what.
Agreed, but Dennis was there, and Dennis said, guys, can we just get each other to a fair point? Didn't you say that? Okay.
Maybe I may have said
He
something
didn't say that.
Yeah, I know.
I guess I have a question for you, Mark. I don't know if you're aware, but if the Beach tribe had lost you that first challenge, you were gone for sure. If when we got down to the 4 remaining Beach people over here, if we had another tribe, well, you were gone for sure. How would you have outwitted your way out of that, or was it kind of pure team luck that you got along as far as you did?
I would not say it was pure team luck. So first I would say that that's not kind of entirely the case. When Jim said, I need a volunteer for the first challenge, I was the first person to raise my hand. And then when I was given the first opportunity to choose something, I chose some of the strongest players. I chose Amanda, and Dennis, I chose you. That key decision right there of choosing a strong team made sure that that first challenge had the absolute best chance of winning.
Don't you only pick one person as the leader? I mean, I was the other one, and I only had an opportunity to pick one person.
Did you look over to me and confirm your choice?
I said, I want to pick Dennis, and I looked at him and I said, Dennis, and he said yes.
So Amanda, we talked a lot about being like Dom and Wendell from this previous season. I guess it bothers me some that you were willing to go so far down that line where we followed such a parallel path and you wouldn't go through with it. Were you just never on board to begin with?
So I was never 100% on board. I told you that, and in some ways I wanted that, and in other ways I wanted the final 3 with me, Meredith, and Jamin. I told you both, I'm going with you to the end for sure, because that is what I thought I needed to do to make sure you didn't turn on me. And I think I convinced you of that. And at the end of the day, when Jamin won, my options are to vote for Dennis and have it be a clear cut, someone goes home, or to vote for Mark and have it be a tie. Whatever she's about to say is going to be a lie. And have it be a tie. And I knew in a tie, whoever wins is going to look good, because that's exactly what happened with Dom and Wendell. So I took a lesson from that playbook and I used it.
My decision at the last one was, even up until walking up, was not 100%. That was the worst vote ever. It made me sick. And he can confirm that, because he asked who was it between, and I said it was also between you. So it was not an easy decision for me in playing a game. If I don't have to burn a bridge, why do it? So that's why I wasn't trying to make all these different connections until it got to the point where I have to finally make a hard decision to get where I am now. That's when I did it.
But to be fair, she didn't have to have the cross alliances because she didn't come into the game with a target on her back. So a lot of these backstabbing things I literally had to do to stay in the game. Jamin and Mark didn't have their name written down like I did, and they didn't have conversations about voting them out like people had about me.
Amanda's pitch seems to be, I came in trying to have maximize optionality, have lots of different kind of deals at once. I'm curious, given your overall strategy, how many times did you actually turn down an alliance?
First of all, I actually had trouble getting offers from people that were on the bottom. So I would go to people and say, like, make me a pitch. I went to Brittany when she was about to get voted off, and I said, Brittany, pitch me something. Like, literally, if there's something that's better for me than staying loyal to Beach, tell me. And she's like, there's nothing. And so, like, I tried, I really did. I wanted to be flexible and I wanted to try and work with people.
I just got new with the Idol community, so I didn't say nothing.
So the vote I'm actually most proud of is voting out Steve. We had just had the Joe vote and it was very precarious for me. I was about to get voted out. All I needed was Dennis to flip and I would have gotten voted out. After that vote, Dennis and Mark were adamant that it had to be Mare. They said she defected, she's completely risky, we can't let her get... Yep.
That wasn't him, that was me. He wasn't gonna go for it, no. He was Beach all the way no matter what. It took him forever, like when it finally got to where it was all Beach, the only deciding factor was then, like, well, who defected in the Beach tribe?
Okay, that's not what I remember, but okay. And so Dennis really wanted to vote for Mare, and I ran all the scenarios, and if we had voted out Mare and then Charlie, we would leave Steve and Brittany to potentially work with Dennis and other people to vote me out. And I knew if we could get them out first, the three of us would be able to control Dennis, and he had to work with us because we had a powerful three.
Can I speak to this, please? Because that entire thing was
Yeah.
my idea. These two were adamant that we had to get out Mare, and us two were saying we had to keep Beach strong and get out Steve first, and once it was Beach 7, then we would get out Mare, and you specifically said, I am indifferent.
But the point is, it was the two of them wanting to do one thing versus the two of you wanting to do something, and I had to make a decision, and I got Dennis to agree to vote out Steve.
No, it wasn't your idea, though.
I agreed because of a deal I made with Mare to
Right.
keep her safe, and I think that is the worst move in the entire game, is voting out Steve instead of Mare 9. Mare's a lot more dangerous about it.
I feel somewhat mischaracterized as 100% loyal all the way through, because I think that hurts me in some ways. I do think I played a loyal, straightforward, straight-up game. However, when there were 4 of us left, and I was perfectly happy going up against a lot of the last 3 pairs, I wasn't so much worried about the strategy at that point, who it was going to be, because I was confident that I was going to get there, and I was confident that at the end I could kind of state my case well. When there was 4 of us, I reached out to Jamin, and I was the only one had kind of confidence in her being able to get immunity that last round. She didn't even think you could get immunity, but I thought you could, and then I made a plan with Jamin so that at the end of that, I would stay safe.
I had conversations with every single person, so you weren't the only one who had a conversation with, and that wasn't you brought me an offer that I was like, okay, but it didn't necessarily change the outcome.
And the other thing is, I did the exact same thing with Jamin. I wanted to go to the end with Meredith and Jamin, but I knew that if we voted off Mark, we would be left with Dennis, and Dennis would win immunity, and then everyone was going to turn on me. And I went to Dennis, and I said, Dennis, that's not a good situation for me, because the girls are going to vote for me, and so are you. And he said, you're right, I would. That is exactly what happened right after there! He said, good point, I would turn on you.
Jamin came up to me and was like, oh, me and the girls are really pissed about Mare and how she, like, almost voted for Amanda. I think you and Steve should vote for Mare. So is that true? Like, were you 3 pissed, or is that just a lie?
No, I mean, it was, at that point, it was like, we had Rice left and people who had gone Rice. And so I was, like, upset, because I was blindsided by that. I did not realize what was going on. Like, I 100% believed Mare, and then it turned out, even though the vote went one way, like, I was blindsided by that. So I was upset, and I did want, like, she was someone who I was considering, you know, not wanting to go forward. But at that point, we had already realized that Rice would have to go.
So the next portion of this debate will center around the outplay aspects of the game. How did these 3 do in challenges, the physical elements of the game, dealing with this 30-hour marathon that we've had on little to no sleep. So let's hear from someone who hasn't spoken yet, just to open up this part of the conversation.
Amanda, the people on your left and right both won immunity challenges. Mark also found the idol, too. What will be your argument that you did well?
Sure. Okay, so a couple things. First of all, I think I was very strong in the team challenges. In the challenge at the front rocks, you had to get 3 points. I threw to Joe twice to get 2 of the 3 points. When we were collecting balls, I was in, critical. I was carrying them in my bathing suit. I put a ton of balls in the bucket. And then when we were unscrambling the flame still burns, I was the one who found the word burns, and I said it's about the torch, and then Brittany helped get the flame. So I was critical in winning those 4 challenges, and doing that protected me for 4 votes that I wouldn't have been able probably to be safe. And also I did decently in all of the individual immunities. I outlasted 2 men on the plank challenge. Like, I did respectably in all the challenges.
I won the last immunity, which I thought was great, and I think I was really, really close to winning the one between Mark and I. So I think that's something to remember too.
Jamin, do you think you needed that last immunity to make it to the final 3?
Well, I want to say no, because I thought that some of the conversations I had were actually really strong. But I think that by that time I started to realize that there was a lot more conversations going on. I do think that there was a chance that I could have gone.
Do you think that you deserve to be in the top 3, given that you've been riding on the Beach Tribe Alliance and may or may not have just followed?
Yeah, no, I definitely do. I think that, like you were saying with the contrasting games, I played my game much more challenge by challenge with, keeping it in line of this is what we had originally, and until I find that people are being dishonest with me, I'm going to change that. But I really have to bring in the fact that I'm brand new to this, so I think there's something to be said about the fact that I'm here given that. And I tried my hardest. I didn't ever at any point just say I'm just gonna let this go. Even if I wasn't talking to people, like in my head, I was really playing.
Okay, so then we'll move on to the final piece, and that's Outlast. This is all defined as the intangibles, all the miscellaneous things that got these 3 to where they are, and you guys to where you are. Is there anything we haven't talked about, or anything we want to revisit if we need clarity on anything?
So, Amanda, every year, you always say at Final Tribal that you have all these people, and all these people follow you. I mean, I'm proud of you because it's the first year that you made it to the Final 3, but do you still think you took the same leadership role that you claimed to in the Wing Fest season, and you were the ringleader of your alliance? Did you step back this season and let other people kind of make decisions and step up?
So I think what I learned from saying I have people is that I don't, and I did not fully have them. I had relationships with them that were impactful, but I did not have complete control over them. So Meredith is a great example. I thought in the past that I had Meredith, and she completely betrayed me. Dennis is a great example. I never thought I had Dennis, but I thought Dennis and I had something that was real, and he betrayed me. I have had that in the back of my mind. Okay, these people, they want to work with me, but only to a point. And that impacted the actions and steps that I took. So I think I definitely did take a different approach. I adjusted because that approach didn't work. I would not be here without my alliance members. I would not be here without Mark or Jamin, and I wouldn't have gotten as far as I did without Dennis or Meredith. I don't claim to be a ringleader, but I claim to have built genuine relationships that made a difference.
Glad you're less smug this season.
I learned my lesson.
I want to know if you guys have any regrets or would change anything about the way you played over the last day and a half.
The thing that was so tough was voting on folks who trusted me.
Mm-hmm.
That, I don't know if I can regret that, but genuinely that was super hard.
I completely agree with that. It's hard because if you want to win, you have to do really hurtful things and that sucks. And same thing, I don't necessarily regret it if I want to be here, but I do I hate it.
I don't have any regrets. I'm really proud of how I played. I am really sad that I had to vote Dennis off.
And a question for you, Amanda. This is your 5th time doing it. When you think about someone's first time, Jay's first time doing it, would you categorize it as the exceptional strategy, as beginner's luck, as riding others' coattails? How would you describe, this being her first time and being top 3?
I think anyone getting to the end is a combination of luck. All of us got a little bit lucky. I would not say it was exceptional strategy. She did a good job. I'm really proud of her. She went and she made relationships with each of you and talked with each of you on her own, and she did not stay completely in my shadow, and so I give her credit for that.
And your thoughts?
I mean, I think it comes down to that we just all played very, very different games. If I played her strategy the exact same way as her, I think she would have said that I did a good job. But she also needs to bring me down a little bit because she's trying to win right now. So I think you have to take that into consideration. I really just think we all had different styles.
Jane, do you think people underestimated you?
Yes.
How did you use that?
I mean, I think at the beginning, I had this like I would like to win. I would really, and once things start coming and I learn how this game is played, I'm gonna play it well. I was quiet in the beginning because I really needed to get an understanding of what was going on, and I definitely think I was underestimated. But I used it.
Well, you gotta advertise yourself as this nice guy who's super loyal. Now, if your tribe of beach was 4 compared to a 5 rice, let's say, for example, would you betray your beach tribe to join rice to stay in the game, or will you be loyal to the end and just, not survive?
Honestly, I would have changed my whole strategy at that point, because at that point that strategy is no longer a viable option. I think I could have worked really well with Joe. That strategy would have been in the past.
My last question is for Jamin, but I just want to make sure I'm understanding, because I think Amanda and Mark have already answered this. Mark, it sounds like your most influential moment to how the game panned out was at the very beginning when you got Beach to commit to get to 7. And Amanda's, you said yours was the Steve vote. Jamin, I don't think we've heard what you think your most influential moment in the game was.
I think my most influential moment was when Dennis and I finally had a conversation about what it could look like Final 3. When it became clear to people, because I started to let people know that I am okay not going with what people thought the perception was, which was Meredith and Amanda. Loyalty goes to a certain point, but that when it comes down to it, if we need to win, then I'm willing to do that. So that for me was trying to get that out there, that like I'm just not this coasting off of their game.
What are you guys gonna do with money?
I honestly think that's an unfair question, because if someone says something super altruistic, people might sway their votes to vote for them. I don't want to come across as like a pandering if I say what I think I'm going to do with it.
Do it.
I'm going to give it to Jim. He put a ton of money and energy into this and deserves it and should be paid back.
Aww. Oh, nice guy.
Oh.
Yeah, my vote.
I'm paying for very expensive school right now, so I'm putting it towards that.
It will probably go toward my student debt.
So in terms of Outlast and making it there, it's all about each time not getting voted out. I want each of you to address one specific vote where you made some move at that vote to avoid yourself getting voted out.
I'm going to go first. When you were voted out, I had 2 layers of insurance. The first layer of insurance was I got 2 people, Amanda and Dennis. We were on board voting you out. But the second layer of insurance, I had an immunity idol. And it's almost like I didn't need the immunity idol whatsoever. So a lot of that was stage 1 planning, stage 2 planning.
When you had your hidden immunity idol and you played it, did you share that information with anybody that you had it?
I only shared with the camera.
I was hyper vigilant this time, every single vote, about if I were going to get votes coming my way, because I've made it through very few tribal councils in my 4 seasons. And so I was, as Jamin would say, paranoid, but that was founded in something. And so I did all the work beforehand to build relationships that prevented my name from actually coming up too many times. When Brittany, said she had an idol, I realized we were all putting votes on Brittany and we hadn't just talked to split it, and I figured she would vote for me. And so I wrote down Charlie's name as insurance in case we had a tie vote, we could re-vote and vote Charlie out.
There wasn't a time where I'm like, I need to really, really make sure that this isn't going towards me, because I didn't feel like that was happening. I think I knew at 5 and 4 that it could go any way because things were changing so quickly. That doesn't really answer, but I don't have a specific time where I felt like I needed to do something major to make sure my name wasn't put on.
I just want to say something as well real quick. Even though we're all here questioning how you guys played your game, you guys all played the best game out of all of us, and that's why you're here. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks, yeah.
With that, we're going to allow each of the final 3 to make a brief 1-minute closing statement. This is the last impression you have the ability to make on the jury before the vote. So we'll start with Mark first this time.
I'll just start by saying I had a great time doing this, and I really enjoyed it all the way through. I think the record's pretty clear on how strategically I played, how I played the team challenges, how I networked with folks, all the way down to just playing cards at dinner. So it just comes down to, I had a really good time. I'm proud of the way I played, and I think I'm great.
All right, and Amanda, please go ahead.
Guys, again, I agree. I had a great time playing with y'all. I came in to play hard, and I did that. I knew that I needed to have a backup plan beyond my core alliance. I tried to work with other people as it helped progress me to get to the final three, a place I have not been able to get before, but I've used what I've learned in the past and was able to execute this time, and I'm proud that I'm sitting here.
Okay, and Jamin, finish this up.
I mean, I'm going to echo that. It was super, super fun. I originally didn't want to play because I was nervous about all these things, because it is a big deal. I don't like hurting people, and I just wanted you guys to know that was like really hard for me. But at the end of the day, we're all here to play a game, and I think that if you really think about it, I did play a really, really good game.
Okay, thanks everybody. That was a great final tribal council. So what we'll do now is we'll have each of the jury members cast their vote. We're voting for which one of the three you think played the best game, and will be crowned the winner of our season. So we'll start with Autumn for the vote.
Voting for Jay with a little bit of pizzazz.
Good game, and I'm really proud of you. I really hope you win.
Everybody, thank you for another great year, our 5th year.
Good job, guys.
All of you came to play, and I really appreciate that. I'll read the votes now without any further ado. Do you guys want to see your name? First vote, Amanda. Jamin. 1 vote Amanda, 1 vote Jamin. Mark. 1 vote Mark. Amanda, 2 votes Amanda. 1 vote Jamin. 1 vote Mark. Jamin. That's 2 votes Jamin. 2 votes Amanda. 1 vote Mark. Mark. 2 votes Amanda. That's 3 votes Amanda. 2 votes Jamin. 2 votes Mark. 2 votes left. Jamin.
Oh my gosh!
3 votes Amanda, 2 votes Mark.
Oh my god.
This vote is for Mark. We have a 3-way tie.
Oh, no way.
It is not a vote for Mark.
Oh.
The winner of Survivor Branford Season 5 is Jamin.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Oh my god, that is a shock. Oh my god. Wow, I might cry.
Congratulations. And here is your $140. Well earned. Not bad for a day's work.